have started somewhere.
Yeah.
Stephen King, he went to 39 different publishers before they took the first one on. J.K. Rowling, I think she was the same. So they've all got to start. It's just somebody reading your book and taking it further. And that's what you hope. They hope the knock-on effect is somebody reads it that's maybe got a bit of clout or wants to turn it into a movie, maybe.
Spielberg moment.
Yeah. Well, I've actually, the guy who wrote Sixth Sense, I'd prefer if he got hold of my book, because he's, and there's a big twist in my book, and I think that he'd like that. But you need somebody to get hold of it that's got a bit of clout. But Stephen King was completely penniless. He couldn't even afford to support his family, and then the first book was taken. So you never know. Either way, it's good fun. I enjoy doing it.
Yeah.
Enjoy the writing side.
Yeah, well, you didn't start. I mean, obviously you started it in essence for mental health reasons. So it was never about making money, and it still isn't about making money. It became that, and then it became also an enjoyment.
Yes.
And because you obviously imagination, you get it down on paper. You've got all these ideas and stories. All of a sudden now, so you've got the confidence from writing those 2 books just to keep going on.
Yeah.
And so now you'll just keep writing. And however many books get published, however many books you sell, you'll just keep doing it.
Yeah, because it's good fun. And we said from the start that it would probably not make us any money. But mentally, it really helped my mental health. And Mind got hold of the story, didn't they, about 8 months ago? And so it was Mental Health Day at the time, so that was quite a knock-on effect that this book helped with my mental health. Hopefully if somebody else is struggling and they're creative, maybe it'll push them into doing something with it now, even if it's not writing, if it's just something else. It might help you, and that's what it's all about.
But look where you are now.
Yeah.
You're talking in a library in front of a lot of people. You never would have done that ever before if you hadn't have had that book published.
And it does make you more confident. I'm definitely more confident since I wrote the book. And like Paul's just said, I've got more confidence now to keep writing the other stories that are in my head. The next one's a crime thriller. I've already thought about it. I already know. I've already got ideas. So that'll be in the back burner until this is out. Next one's out, and then I can move on to the next one.
How long does it take you to write a book?
I started this one in July, and I sent it off to the publisher end of April. Yes, end of April. But I think I spent more time on this than I did with Second Hand Rose, because I had more people have given me more feedback, so I wanted to make sure it was a bit more in depth. Whereas I think that took me about 2 months, 2-3 months, but the story just came out. I mean, I didn't check it. I didn't make sure that there weren't any spelling mistakes, whereas we've done a lot more with this one. So I'm hoping there's not 300 edits in a week's
Well,
time.
there'll be more because there's more words. More words, more edits.
More thorough.
I think the second thing is the first book you didn't have the promoting to do. So it was just a story you were writing. Whereas writing the second book, you were still doing all this at the same time. So your time management's a little different with your second book. So you're trying to balance between promoting and then writing, because unfortunately you're not blessed where you've got a team of people working. Well, a team of one. So everything you've kind of got to do yourself. And if you don't promote the book yourself, it'll never sell, because no one will buy a book that's never heard of an author. So you've just got to get out there and get the word out. And this is the only thing, the social media and all that sort of thing you've got to do, and that takes a lot of time and effort just to get all that. Because before, Deborah wasn't even on social media, and then all of a sudden she had to learn it all and then use it all. And now, as I say, hence why she's got so many American readers and websites and viewers, reviews and everything, is because it's all through the social network that she's built up over the last 12 months.
So hopefully second book will be a bit easier, because I've done all the legwork with the first one, and I can literally post the second book when it's out in a few months. And I've already got a lady wanting to interview me about the second book already, because she interviewed me about the first book. So she's got her own YouTube channel. So hopefully all these things are already set in place, and I can just contact them and say, right, book number 2's out. Can we do an interview?
Yeah.
So it's already happening, which is easier the second time round because you've already done that legwork.
Have you been here before? Did you do a
No.
talk downstairs?
No, this is the first time we've ever been here.
Somebody recommended you and I can't remember who it was.
I think it was Thorn when you emailed me. I think it was Thorn Library that recommended, because I'd just done Thorn just a few weeks before.
No, it was somebody in person.
Oh, was it?
Yeah. Was it somebody from our readers group?
Yeah.
She said she'd seen you.
Right.
Yeah.
So was it Pam? Was it Pam?
Pam.
Yeah.
She comes from that way.
Right.
Perhaps she did see you at first.
Maybe, yeah, maybe.
And she's in our readers group here, so she said...
Word of mouth, that's what it,
Yeah.
that's what it needs.
I mean,
isn't
it's just like a good suggestion, or a suggestion would be to get into WIs.
it? We are,
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, that's where I was
We
thinking.
are, yes.
They've been-
Yeah, I'm on their site to book me.
Yeah, yeah, because that'd be a good starting point and a good turnaround for that book and for the
For the next
children.
one, yes,
yeah,
with the...
there's lots of WI
I've got
people.
grandchildren.
Yeah,
yes,
exactly.
Yeah. We joined that about 4 or 5 months ago. So yeah, I'm on their list
Yeah,
as a guest
yeah,
speaker, so
yeah.
anybody can book me.
Do you have details of how they can? Because retired teachers are always looking for speakers for their, we've got 2 groups. And the poor speaker finder, you know, has to scratch their head all the time to get something that we haven't had a dozen times or that somebody else is doing the same week. So if I can have a contact,
Yeah, definitely.
I'll let the committees know.
Yes,
on both
yeah,
of
please
those.
do. Yeah, I'll give you my email address.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah, and then anybody can contact me,
Good.
and we can work something out.
Right.
Perfect, thank you.
Yeah, well, any way that you've got to spread the word is good, isn't it?
It is, because bookshops won't put my book in, so the word of mouth thing, like you've just done with that, is all spreading it about. And if a lady came here and she came to maybe one of the other libraries and saw me speak, then that's telling you, and then that's a knock-on effect, and hopefully you'll tell somebody else, and that's how it all gets around.
What do you mean at bookshops or have you booked?
Oh yes, that's hilarious.
I was gonna say,
I have to
I'll
buy
just-
it. I have to buy the book, take it to them, and they will sell it. If they don't sell it, then they give it me back.
I didn't know that.
And is that how it happens with every book in a bookshop?
No, just
Or is
people
it
like
just
me.
you?
Yeah, just first-time authors. People like Stephen King don't have that problem. They're happy to take 1 million books off him, but unfortunately, when you're classed as an indie author, which is what I am, no books will take it in.
Because
Yeah.
that don't let people express their talents, does it?
No.
Don't
I
they?
didn't know that.
No, don't the publishers that publish? You know, do they so they
They put it on
produce your book?
Amazon, so I'm on Amazon, I'm on Barnes and Noble, I'm on Kobo, I'm on sites that I've done myself,
Right.
but bookshops, physical bookshops,
Yeah.
are not interested at all, unless the second book or this one becomes a bestseller, and then all of a sudden they'll be knocking at the door.
Would it be worth having like a stall or something? You know, in Meadow Hall, sometimes they have somebody with like parks, don't they? In the middle of the
Yeah.
aisles.
The only problem with that is that I buy it at £7, I sell it at £7, so I wouldn't make any money. So then I've got to pay for the stall,
Yeah.
I've got to pay for getting there,
Yeah.
so you literally wouldn't make any
So
money.
you don't get it any cheaper because it's
No.
I'm thinking to myself, how do people make their money
I
then?
know. And
You're good at, that you're interested in and you love doing, and you can do it. I'm good at this. I can do something that other people wouldn't embark upon, and I think that's so important at the moment. When you think about the youngsters that haven't got that, and I think that's why they sort of career off and do. They're seeking for something. They've never found anything that they're good at, that they've been successful at. So you know, I think that shines out of you.
thank you. I think it's really nice, thank you.
Well, no, I think that's That's just how it strikes me.
It just took me 50 years.
It don't matter, does it?
No, apparently, was it Catherine Cookson who were later in life when she started writing her first
She
novel?
worked in a laundry where I came from in Hastings. She'd worked in other places and came from up north to be in charge of a laundry. And she went to a creative writing.
All
room.
right.
That one of the colleagues I worked with, he went there because he was interested in writing. And then these books started appearing, and I mean, there was a real craze for them. They're just so readable. So she was getting,
Yeah, she was
she
later
was
in
well
life.
into
People
middle
have mentioned that
age.
before at the other book
Yeah.
readings and said that it doesn't matter what age you are
No,
at all. If you all of a sudden get that spark, just go for it. Yeah, go for it. And because I work in a warehouse with a collection of people that are such characters, I'm always finding characters. And the second book is full of people that have supported me or that I know, because I've sort of borrowed them for book number 2, which makes things easier because I've got a warehouse full of people that I can borrow from. So it does make things easier, especially when you don't know how to make a character from start. It sort of helps you out a bit. So it's
What do
good
your
fun.
work colleagues think then?
Some of them have bought it. One of the lads in the warehouse bought it for his mum. He was the first person to buy it. He came into work and he had it behind his back and he said, "I've got you, sign it for his mum." That first book signing was like a day after it went live. Absolutely amazing. A lot of them have bought it. A lot of them have
Good, that,
it
come
is,
to
it's
support you,
amazing.
isn't it?
Yeah, a lot of them have. My boss, who's the guy who was my boss, who's no longer my boss, he's moved to a different role in the company. He's now made it into the second book, but he bought it and read it on the plane going to America, and actually messaged me when he landed to tell me that he'd just finished it and he'd read it all on the plane and he absolutely loved it. So yeah, they've been really, really supportive, and obviously booking time off to do these. I've had to book the afternoon off to come and do the book talks, and I've had to do that every time. So they've been giving me the afternoons off, giving dates and making sure that nobody else is off. So yeah, they've been really, really good. And I've been in the Works magazine that went round the whole company. And bearing in mind we're a global company, it went round everybody, so that's quite nice. So, endless.
Thursday afternoon from 2 to 4, I'm going to write.
I work 7 while 5 every day.
Ah.
And sometimes life, when we get home, means that I don't get to write. I have some strange times when I remember things sort of 4 o'clock in the morning, think, oh, that's a good chapter. Or coming home in the car, oh, that'll make a good chapter. And then I have to write it down so that I don't forget it. But normally, he goes to the gym on a Tuesday night, and that's when I sit down for a couple of hours. And I have the strangest way of writing. I listen to, or I watch, Murder, She Wrote.
That's one of my favourite.
She has to be on in the background. She's my hero.
Yeah.
So I put Jessica on and I sit in the front room and I listen to Jessica while I write. And that's what I've always done. I find her so calming. She just focuses me. Without her, I don't think I could write.
Well, I'll go home and tell John.
But yeah, that's how I write.
Yeah.
She's always on. So I do it in the front room because obviously the TV's in
Yeah.
the front room. And we're not even watching her. He's sick of her.
Well, John always says the same people in every episode,
Yeah, they
but
are.
1 week they're a baddie, next week they're a goodie.
There's only 10 actors.
Yeah.
It is. It's either home and away. She's either in Cabot Cove or she's in the city. You know what I say?
It's known as MSW in our house. Oh no, not MSW again.
But yeah, that's what I've done from day one. Because I've always watched Murder, She Wrote. Massive Angela Lansbury fan, I absolutely adore her. So she's on in the background and I just listen to her while I write, and she helps me write. One guy at one library said, I'd end up typing what she's saying. I won't be able to do it, I'd be focusing on her and not what I were doing.
I'd be watching. I've just done that.
Let somebody be thinking,
I'll just make me
that sounds familiar.
I'll just make me apple cobbler like hers, yeah.
I don't know how she finds the time to write.
I know what you mean, though. How much of it is just as you wrote it originally, and how much of it have you gone over and rewritten?
I didn't, after I wrote it the first time, we printed it, gave it to my mum, and that's it. And then when my partner sent it over to my publisher, they want it indented in a certain way, they want the words, the size of the words a certain size, so the only thing he did was change it as per their instructions. We didn't change anything else. Sent it over to them, like I say, 2 weeks later, we'd like to offer you a contract, we want your book. And then 3 weeks after that, the edits turned up, and there were 300 edits. We had a meltdown. We literally had a meltdown.
So really, it was the only alterations were what your publisher wanted?
Yes, and they were spelling mistakes, they were grammar mistakes, they were clarification on certain things that when I wrote it, I thought, well, I know what it means. Well, I'm not the one that's reading it. So they changed things to clarify them. So we were going on holiday 3 days later, so we literally had 3 days to do all the edits. And we sat in the kitchen every night, going through it all, checking it all.
So did you have to change to American spellings then?
That I'd done that mostly anyway, because I'd already thought about that at the time, but there was a lot of things that I'd not thought about because I was never going to get this published. It was just going to be for my mum, and that was it. And my mum didn't mind if there were spelling mistakes. So it was mostly grammar, commas, full stops. I'd not, whenever you use a name in a book, it has to be italics. I didn't even know half of this stuff. So all this stuff, they changed, they made sure that it worked, and also clarified some items. So it was a lot of, as much as it was a lot of edits, it wasn't changing my story at all. They said, do not change your story, we'll never change your story. We like your story the way that it is, that's why we've offered you a contract, but there were an awful lot of grammar, because neither me or Paul know anything to do with grammar.
Yeah, there was the word bacon butty in there, which they had to take out because it just wasn't a terminology that you would associate with America. So you know, you'd just have to have called it
change that to
just like a sandwich or a ham sandwich or something relative. And they didn't like any swear words.
No.
So even what you would maybe not class as really harsh swear words, they kind of had to sort of take out. So even in like an argument between a man and a woman in the book, and the man calling the woman a bitch, they didn't even like that. Even in the context of it being in a heated argument, they didn't even like that. So some words had to be sort of taken out and removed.
So they were happy with the gory bits, but I wasn't allowed to use bitch.
They were happy with ripping legs off and things
Oh God,
like
yeah.
that.
So we had to change it to witch, because when you Google bitch, it brings up female dog. Obviously, you can't in an argument say you female dog.
No.
So we had to.
Why do you think Americans don't use the word bitch?
I think that my publisher didn't want any type of swearing.
Well, calling
in their
somebody
books.
a witch is the same sort of.
Yeah, but they were happy with that.
So is your publisher in Britain or are they American?
No, they're in Manchester. They're in Britain, yeah.
Reading that.
Yeah, I get
Thank
You
you.
see very often, you know, our age group register.
No, because you normally sat on the floor with your legs crossed, aren't you?
Keep moving from side to side, reaching,
I've gone numb.
Yeah.
really engaging.
Could do with a bit more.
Well, you'll have to bite for that.
Yeah. Chapter 2 is somewhat different than Chapter 1.
Yeah, chapter 1 lulls you in.
And Chapter 2 sort of kind of gets you, so then it sort of grabs you.
Like I say, it's a short story. So.
More Stephen King, then.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, because it's a novella, and it obviously a short story. You can't drag it out too long, so you've just got to get to nitty gritty.
So how many words have you got to do for that then?
For this is 28,000, and the second one's 41,000.
Right.
So the second one's a bit bigger. But the last year, a lot of other authors give you pointers when they read your book.
Oh, I don't know.
So that's amazing because I don't class myself as a writer or an author. I just wrote a book because I'm grieving. So they tell you that maybe describe more, go in depth with your place, go in depth with your characters. So the second book's a lot more in depth, and I think that's why the word count is a lot more. It probably isn't a bigger book as in story-wise, but there's a lot more in depth, and there's a lot. Not Stephen King, because Stephen King puts chapters in for no reason, but there's a lot more describing in this one. So I think I've learned so much from the other guys that have been messaging me saying, think about this when you write your next one, or do this, and they're brilliant. They are really, really good, they're really supportive. And a lot of these authors have been at it 30 years, so they've wrote an awful lot more books than I have.
And your reviews. Obviously,
Yes.
you picked up on your reviews, because I see the reviews, quite a few of them have been, you would class them as potentially negative, but a lot of the news have come back saying we actually wanted more. We enjoyed the story, we enjoyed the book, but it would have been nice to get more of a story.
Which is a compliment,
It is, yeah.
that they're not saying I was bored, it was too long. So it's a compliment to say they wanted some more, which hopefully will come when I do prequels.
Yeah, but when you've never written a book before and you haven't really got a background for it, you just write a story, just put it down on paper, and you give it to your mum, and that's it. You don't have to do anything else with it. But you know, in the end, a lot of the reviews have been quite productive and supportive. So even in the little negatives in it, you've learnt
It's all
from,
feedback,
and
it's
you've
all
put it
helping
into
you.
your second book.
So how
They do send me a list every 6 months of my sales, and I've so far sold 110 books, and it's a 54-56 split, 56 to America. So they're slightly more. That's the last count. The next one will be August
yeah.
when I find out. But I do have a lot more Americans message me than British.
Yeah.
I think they probably are more vocal and probably bigger on the websites as well, and all the socials that I'm on, and book clubs. They have an awful lot of book clubs.
Yeah.
So that's probably why it's probably gone to a bigger audience in America.
Which age group would you say it's aimed at?
This one, yeah, probably 16 plus, because it is gory. There's only one sex scene, but I didn't go overly erotic. It's mostly just the gore. So it's, I'd say 16 plus. But I suppose it's up to the parents. Paul read these kind of books when he was about 11 or 12. Probably his mum and dad didn't know actually, but I think
Oh God, no. I mean, if you read a lot of Stephen King books, certainly in terms of how he is, and obviously there's a lot of children in the aspects of Stephen King, and some of them don't always end up in a nice way, and some of the deaths are pretty gruesome. So I think if you look at Stephen King's sort of age group himself, you know, you think, well, that really should be 16 plus, but you probably find that a lot of younger audience probably do read Stephen King just because of his, you know, his fame and you know, obviously what he's famous for. So I suppose nowadays it's probably different than 30 years ago in terms of what kids are exposed to and what they can
social media,
watch, and
things are a lot different,
you know.
aren't
So, but obviously the whole purpose of the character that Deborah's written, it has to be what it be to create this real sinister, creepy, nasty character. And so unfortunately, people get it in bad ways. No, that's the nature of the beast.
Yeah.
What sorts of advertising